Newcastle will hold a minute's silence before the game following the death of their former winger Christian Atsu in the devastating earthquakes in Turkey and Syria.
A helicopter's just crashed next to the stadium.
Plane crashes, legends dying, missing ballers. Over the years, football's seen a couple of moments that brought even the hardest people in the world to tears. So I decided to make a list of the most emotional moments in football. And at number 1, Vichai Srivaddhanaprabha suffered the biggest heartbreak of his life. In 2018, after watching his Leicester team play against West Ham in the English Premier League, Vichai Srivaddhanaprabha, the owner of Leicester City, decided to head home. He had arrived to watch the game in his private jet, and after meeting with the team, coaches, and staff, he boarded the helicopter for his flight. However, tragedy struck just minutes after takeoff, when the helicopter crashed, claiming the lives of Vichai, the pilot, and 4 other staff members. The news sent shockwaves throughout the league, leaving the Leicester players in disbelief. Just hours before, they had met with Vichai, some even taking pictures with him after the game. For Vichai's son, Ayawat, the loss was devastating. Years of learning under his father had prepared him for leadership, but now he faced the daunting reality of guiding the club without his father by his side. However, he found solace in the support of the Leicester City players.
Demarai Gray has scored in front of the 55 on the clock.
They flew to Bangkok together to pay their last respects and attend the burial, offering unwavering support as Ayawat assumed the role of chairman. It was a tragic event that left a profound impact. To Ayawat, my heartfelt condolences go out to you, as they do to Christian Atsu's family, following one of the most heartbreaking losses witnessed. In early 2023, Christian Atsu was riding high on a wave of success. He had just secured a stoppage-time victory for his Hatayspor team in their home match against Kasimpasa, and he was looking forward to reuniting with his family the next day. However, fate had other plans. Hours after his game-winning goal, devastating news spread like wildfire.
That the player had been pulled from the rubble following the earthquake in Turkey.
A massive earthquake had struck Syria and Turkey, hitting the area where Atsu's apartment was located. Concerned friends and family desperately tried to reach him, but his phone remained unreachable. Despite their relentless efforts, hope dwindled with each passing day until the heartbreaking truth emerged. Atsu had perished in the earthquake. His untimely death sent shockwaves not only through his family, but also throughout his homeland of Ghana. Atsu was revered as a local hero, known for his philanthropic endeavors that supported numerous school projects and charity organizations. Teams he had played for, including Chelsea, Newcastle, Malaga, and Bournemouth, all spoke fondly of his positive impact. Despite the tragedy, the Ghanaian government was resolute in honoring Atsu's memory. They draped his casket in the colors of the national flag, transporting him back to Ghana, where he received a burial befitting of royalty. The loss of a footballer in such circumstances always leaves a chilling impact, reminiscent of the tragedy that befell Emiliano Sala in 2019.
The plane, which was travelling from Nantes in France to Cardiff, disappeared 2 weeks ago. Wreckage has been found over several days by a private investigation and was seen initially on a stretch of beach in Certainville on the French coast there.
Here's the thing, Emiliano Sala had just agreed a record deal with Cardiff City to become the new striker for the English Premier League team. And as part of the deal, he was to fly on a private plane from his former team Nantes to the UK. Everything was set for this one to go through, but as the flight had gone a few minutes in, Sala noticed something strange about the plane, so he phoned his family. It's like I'm on a plane that looks like it's going to fall apart. I'm really scared. If no one finds me, then you know what happened. That was the last time anyone ever heard Sala's voice, because minutes later, the plane disappeared from the control tower's radar, and the search for the new Cardiff City man and his pilot began. It lasted for days, and after coming up with nothing, the rescue team was ready to give up. But at this point, It was just a case of Cardiff City and Nantes looking for their player. The whole of football had gotten involved, and popular names like Kylian Mbappe and N'Golo Kante even made donations to skydivers and rescue teams just so they could continue the search for the missing plane. And days later, they came up with devastating news. The plane had crashed into the English River near Guernsey, and in the wreckage, the divers had found what they confirmed to be Salah's body. Sad news. But you see, guys, sometimes some emotional moments in the game can start horribly and end up with beautiful news. But don't take it from me. Just ask Christian Eriksen and the time the Danish national team's squad teamed up to save his life. Euro 2020, Denmark versus Finland in the opening game, and all eyes were on the Danish starman, Christian Eriksen. The country had its hopes on Eriksen's shoulders to take them far into the tournament. But just 41 minutes into the opening game, and it seemed like the weight of expectation must have been too much for Eriksen, because after seconds after receiving a pass, this happened. It immediately sent everyone into panic mode. At first, people were struggling to understand what they'd just seen, because no one knew why he'd fallen like that. The medical team rushed to the field, but as soon as they got there, what they met was even more horrible news. Eriksen was out cold and wasn't responding. At this point, it was now a state of emergency, and if they didn't act quickly, Eriksen was going to lose his life on the pitch. Lucky for him, his teammate and national team captain Simon Kjær was like Superman in football boots, because he not only stopped Eriksen from swallowing his tongue, but ordered his teammates to come around and form a shield to protect Eriksen from the photographers and people trying to take pictures of the horrible moment. And soon after Eriksen was stable, he rushed to Eriksen's wife to inform her and keep both her and Eriksen's kids calm. What a guy. In the end, Eriksen turned out okay and dropped this one from the hospital to his fans and teammates. A miracle. As for Simon Kjær, his efforts didn't go unnoticed. Months later, FIFA offered him a special award for saving his teammate's life and acting like a hero. Well deserved. In December 2020, the world was still recovering from COVID when the shocking news dropped. Diego Maradona was dead. See, he'd been battling with a heart problem for months, and unfortunately, his body couldn't carry him any longer, and he passed. Once the news of his death became global, the entire world went into a state of mourning, especially in Argentina. To some Argentine fans, Diego Maradona was a religion, and to the rest of them, he was like a god. But you see, guys, no one felt Maradona's death more than his daughter Dalma, because the two of them were almost inseparable. Every game, it was like that. At the Boca Juniors Stadium, Maradona was always there, in his special box, with Dalma by his side, as the two of them cheered Boca to victory. But now, for the first time in her life, Dalma was in her dad's box all alone, and he wasn't going to be there to comfort her or watch the game with her. And this reality hit hard, especially after the Boca Juniors players paid her dad the final tribute. The passing of a legend, a sad day for football. But you see, guys, sometimes it isn't until a legend dies before a moment becomes truly emotional. The day this legend left the club that made him become an icon. It sent shockwaves around the world. Almost all of his career for Messi, it had always been Barcelona. He owed them his life because they saved him and paid for his growth hormone injections when everyone else had given up on him. And in return, Messi paid it back by becoming the GOAT of the game and a Barcelona legend. Messi had made it clear that he wanted to play all his life at Barca and retire there. But in 2020, for the first time, he admitted that he wanted to leave, but the club blocked a transfer. Thankfully, Messi stayed. And after winning the Copa America with Argentina in 2021, his first trophy with the national team, Messi thought he was going to crown the moment by signing a contract extension with Barca instead. His world came crashing down. Barcelona was in deep financial trouble. Some club officials had made shady deals, stealing money meant for the team. They also overspent on transfers, leaving the club in debt. Messi's huge salary was a big problem. If they renewed his contract, they couldn't afford to register other players. After days of discussions, They made a tough call that changed Messi's life. Messi was leaving. It's heartbreaking. He dedicated his life to Barcelona. But now it's over. Despite the sadness, Messi has plenty of fond memories from his time at the club. But one memory he won't forget is a brutal foul that nearly ended his career. Like Messi, many players have faced dangerous fouls. Stay tuned to see the 10 things you didn't know about Cristiano Ronaldo.